this is cool. So we're doing our thing, honey.
All right. Oh wait, go live now?
Yep, you
All
can.
right, okay.
You sure can. Because we are, and just make sure you be careful of that thing because it's loud.
Gotcha.
It picks up everything. There you go.
Mhm.
Are you good to go over there?
Yep.
All right. So we are live in Loudmouth Radio Studios. We got a bunch of cameras everywhere on us. And Karla's like, oh my God, I'm so shy. I just feel crazy right now.
Yeah,
But you know
sure,
what?
like-
It's all good. We are, yes. So we're live, and my very, very special guest. This is another opportunity to do a episode of For the Love of Comedy, which is an original series on Loudmouth Radio Network and a Loudmouth original series of comedy interviews. And I got a wonderful comedian, producer of comedy,
Yes.
Miss Karla Amador.
Yes.
Welcome to Loudmouth Radio.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, darling. So I actually know we are live, and I know you said that you always are ready to go on camera. I'm lying, she didn't say that. We are very excited. We're coming up. I've seen you again. This is like the second time in a week.
Second time. Oh, I got technical difficulties over here. I don't know
You
what
are?
happened. Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Uh-oh.
Where's this? We'll delete.
Me and my
Yeah, you know, I probably should have gave you a.
trying to get more studio techie over here.
That's okay. Let's just do this. Let's just let you go.
Okay.
And you just go right on that.
All
there
right.
you go.
There
And you
we
should be good to go.
All right.
I forgot to
I'm
give
not
you-
gonna touch you.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you to go Wi-Fi before you went up.
Oh.
But that's okay.
Okay.
We're here in the studio, honey, and we got a little coaster for your water and
Oh,
everything.
thank you.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Those are
I got my cucumber water. I'm trying to be bougie. Actually, you know, this is like having a facial in a glass, honey.
Yes.
This cucumber.
Very spa.
Oh my God! But it's very good for your body.
Yeah.
And if you're detoxing like I am, you just do something and you make it look real cute where you can see the cucumber.
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to hold my pinky out
That
because
was
I might
nice.
drop the glass on my computer,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna hold it like
do
this.
that. Yes. Yeah.
But thank you for coming in today,
Yeah, thank you for
and
having me.
you know, for our viewers who are watching this interview, we have had a wonderful week. Karla was one of our comedians that came in for our comedy and karaoke at Shooters on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
She came and blessed the room, and she's also a producer of comedy herself, and she has an amazing platform, and I'm gonna let her tell you who she is and how she came to become a comedian as well as a comedy producer. But her showcase is tomorrow in San Diego, so we're going to talk about that too.
Yes.
So Karla, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and let the
Sure.
people who may have never heard of you to know where you're from.
Okay.
And you know, let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
So the mic is yours, honey. Go ahead.
All right. So for those that don't know me, my name is Karla Amador, or Amador in English.
Oh, say it again.
Amador.
Amador.
But you gotta say it
Well,
like,
I gotta say it. Say it again.
like Amador.
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 I feel like I should have like a red cape.
Like you gotta like roll
Like-
those R's.
Yes.
Amador.
Yes. And what is the origin of your name?
So the origin is derives from obviously my father, my grandfather. Never got to know my grandfather, but heard wonderful stories of him. Adopted, born in Mexico City.
Okay.
That's
Your grandfather was adopted?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Oh wow.
apparently so. The last name was given to him in a way that wasn't supposed to be Amador, but I guess in those days there was a lot of hiding and partial to the wars going on, and
Right.
so I'm trying to learn more about him. Every time I see pictures of him, he's just very proud. He's kind of like the he kind of has like that forehead like Ricky Ricardo, you know, from I Love Lucy, you know, like he looks more Cuban. Apparently he's Mexican, but then you know, I'm still trying to understand the family lineage.
Okay.
So, but Amador,
Love it.
con fuerza, like you gotta roll those R's, like. There you go.
So he's basically adopted in Mexico City.
Yes.
And
That's as far as I know. He was adopted.
Okay.
The name didn't come with him, as far as I know. And
Okay.
but my he was named. I'm sorry, my dad was named after him, Jose Humberto Amador.
Oh,
And
very
so
nice.
yeah, and
Very nice.
so Mexico City, moved to Tijuana. Uh, he owned casinos
Oh,
in
wow.
Tijuana, which back then Tijuana had a very glamorous era when
So
prohibition.
what time we're talking about? Like in the 50s, maybe?
So this would be like the 1920s,
Oh,
1940s.
early.
Yeah.
So we're still on the grandfather.
Yeah,
So
we're
the
still on the
grandfather
grandfather.
owned the casinos.
Yeah.
Wow,
He
what a
owned,
heritage.
he owned
Okay.
a couple of casinos. So back then, Tijuana had its glam era because of prohibition, and as
See
far
how
as
you don't know these things?
yeah, it's
That's
quite
smooth.
it's quite interesting.
Yes.
And so, but apparently, you would find Lucille Ball and Desi
Desi
Arnaz.
Arnaz.
Yeah.
I love Lucy.
Hanging
I love
out.
Lucy
Yeah,
and Desi.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so
And
cool.
so,
So your grandfather knew them.
yeah. So,
That's pretty dope.
and but yeah,
Mhm.
my dad was my biggest inspiration. Very
Okay.
funny man.
Okay.
Jose Humberto Amador, which would be the second.
Okay.
And
Daddy had the funny bone.
oh, he sure did. Oh my god.
So grandfather was the socialite.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a bit hard on my dad, from what I had understood.
He put that grit on him.
Oh yeah, he. I think he wanted my dad to be something, but apparently he just kind of like did his own thing. Bit of a rebel, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He had one of these days I'll show a picture of my dad, but I mean, for all of you guys that know my dad, he had like this tiger bit chin. He had like that John Travolta thing going on.
The little
with a
cliff.
smile.
The
Yeah.
little cliff. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And,
I can see that. I could even see maybe from your resemblance
Yeah.
of that connection to John Travolta.
Yeah.
Y'all playing. I love me some John Travolta.
Oh,
Staying
yeah.
alive, John Travolta. Y'all remember that John Travolta? Yeah, stop playing. Right. So dad, is your dad still living?
No, he passed away in 2019, just right before COVID.
Before COVID. Oh,
and
right.
I think he knew COVID was coming.
Oh no.
He was like, I ain't
trying to partake.
I'm out.
He was like, y'all can hear that.
Yeah. Oops, my bad.
I told you these mics pick up everything.
Oh yeah,
you
they
know
sure
what I
do.
mean?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Like I heard your thoughts. She was like, oh my god, I just hit my leg. She just told me not to hit it.
Yeah.
So dad passed at 19. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So for you, what spent you into
Comedy.
the comedy aspect? Yes.
Yeah, so COVID was quite interesting. It took a real damper on me, only because of I was working and then I got furloughed, and then being home without having anything to do, it got me so rigid with ansia, like in Spanish, like anxiety, like what's going on.
I think everybody had anxiety,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
COVID just did a number on us, man.
It sure did.
It did a number on us.
And I seriously did not have anybody to talk to, and
You were in San Diego, right?
oh yeah,
Okay.
and in North Park,
Okay.
and so in those, it was only like 5 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it happened so fast. But
Did.
I was
Unfortunately.
undergoing so much. I just kind of felt like I was still mourning. Even a year later, the death of my dad, because that was really hard on me. I was honoring his memory by how he would always say, don't worry, be happy, just forget about it. My dad had a way of like putting joy in people's lives, just by smiling. He would just like walk into a room and all the center of attention was on him, because he was just this person that knew how to chat with people and just be himself, like very jolly. When he spoke English, he spoke like Chich Marin, like hey.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and then when he would speak in Spanish, he would say all the bad words in Spanish.
Okay.
Like ay de la chingada.
Exactly.
And
Wow.
so
So when did you decide to what was your first time period of really trying to
do comedy?
perform comedy? Yeah.
So I gotta say, I usually would internalize everything. I was never vocal, and because of COVID, I had nobody to talk to. So then it's like, okay, what do I do? You know, I got furloughed, and shockingly, that whole what was it, the paychecks? What did they call it then?
This unemployment.
Yeah, not unemployment. The government that
Oh,
they
it's the
the stimulus. Yes, the stimulus.
Yes.
It was the most money I have ever made in my entire life. Like, seriously.
Oh wow.
Working odd jobs. Initially, I wanted to become a journalist, and you know, my whole degree, college degree, never mattered. So I've just been working, trying to survive. Let's just say, and so then it's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and. One of my friends suggested, you know, a lot of people are just streaming on their experiences on either Instagram, and then
Right.
TikTok became like the boom.
It blew up.
Yeah, and
It blew up.
I don't have it.
Tremendously.
Yeah, I don't have a TikTok account, but I didn't know how to be vocal then or how to talk, so I kind of felt like, what do I do with all of this emotion, all of this anxiety? So all I was able to do was just speak whatever was happening in my mind, and just try to laugh. But when I was laughing, I was shy, like there was hesitation, and I was just like honoring the memory of my dad by not worrying so much but always laughing. And so what ended up happening was I just was just talking about a joke about all of these anxieties, like, here I am, you know, single, 40-something years old. Am I ever going to get married? I'm like, damn, you know, I at least want to have one kid in this lifetime. I mean,
right.
you know.
But you know, it's the things that we are, you know, what we're made up of or what we're dealing with that becomes subject matter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And these experiences. And so people talk about the things that they go through, right? So it is a natural evolution to it. So I get that.
Yeah.
And so this was 2020.
2020, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you work your way? When was the first time, like what time period was when you first went on stage and decided to do like an open mic or something?
Oh gosh, okay. So it didn't happen right away, but when restrictions were lifted, and mind you, California had the toughest restrictions.
We did.
We were like,
people don't realize that. I'll tell people that I got to California in 2019, but it felt like I got here in 2021 because you know, we were shut down for the whole, like 2020 was a whole shutdown. Like
it sure
stuff was not, clubs didn't open up for a year. Just so many things were flattened.
Yes.
And so if you're new to the area, or like you're talking about going through transitional change and the social side of things, that it was none of that really, unless you were a gambler. Right. And a lot of people weren't meeting up like that. They were masked up. And so for you, what was that step like for you? Going into that space.
So I had a lot of energy that I did not know what to do with it, but I did watch a lot of Saturday Night Live growing up, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take improv. So I started taking classes at improv, San Diego Finest City, FCI. And big shout out to them. And I made it up to class four classes, 6-week increments. But long story short, I was shy. Like I had no idea like how to be mobile on stage. I still didn't know how to like yes and, you know. But eventually it segued into comedy, and so I ended up taking a comedy class I was offered, but in those days it was a virtual class, which you know, because what happened was I think it was in around December 2021, COVID was still prevalent,
lingering,
and there was
just the second wave came back in 2021.
Yes. And so it was supposed to be an in-person class, but the class went virtually. So I took the virtual class. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't. It was what it was.
But for you, who's kind of introverted, it probably was a good natural progression. To even get you out of your shell. To start being able to, you know.
yeah, little
speak
by
out on
little.
things. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was still dealing with a lot of like gunk, you know, like trying to like, you know, like you don't want. I guess you could say it's called, you know, you're suppressing your emotions, but
Correct.
then, you know, you don't want to be, you don't want to sound like Let me tell you this. Do you remember like those Warner Brothers cartoons? You know, with all the,
Yes.
I don't know if it was like Goof or no, that's Disney. There was one character, and it was, you know, something snapped inside his head, and you know, and the tiger would go rawr, like.
Oh, that could be. I don't even know who that.
I
Could
can't
be
remember. I'll have to look that up.
Okay.
But oh, it was Lambert's. Lambert the sheepish lion. Anyway, sorry, that's like my ADHD going on.
That's okay. I'm sorry, because I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if I remember him. But literally, you had these like aha moments.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
So how was the first in person situation? Yes.
It was very awkward. It was I walk outside and I just felt like I was coming out of a lot of clout, you know. My first exposure to people was because it was June of 2021, I believe, when California, Gavin Newsom was like, you know, you can unmask yourself, like not an official announcement, but I was like, okay, I'm
relax a little bit.
Yeah, and so I went to the Little Italy's farmers market, and I was like so like surprised. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen so many people, and it was like I just don't know how to socialize, interact, you know.
When did you do your first set?
My first set. So it was I believe it was a couple months. I think it was around August or September of that year.
Okay.
There was a open mic, a really good open mic happening at the what was it? Lamplighter. Lamplighter. It's a karaoke lounge in San Diego.
Okay.
And Mondays they had their open mics there. And so I remember taking the class, and then during that class, our teacher then at the time, she shout out to Jennifer Mason. She challenged us to perform at an open mic. And the very first time I went on the open mic, shout out to Ace Diaz, because he produced and hosted that open mic. He just like, I don't know, my name was called, and I was like, oh, what do I do? And I go up there, and you know, spotlight. I'm like, argh! And
you didn't freeze, did you?
No, I just kind of like, I mean, I gotta say it was liquid courage. I'm like, I just need a drink of something, right?
Right, and get enough courage to get it over with.
Yeah.
Right? So that's cool. So you're only a few years in on the comedy circuit, pretty much.
Yeah.
So what made you convert to the possibility of going deeper with comedy into now? The evolution of comedy producing.
Yeah. So one thing I could honestly say is that my first 2 years of comedy, I was doing a lot of open mics. I wasn't on a lot of shows, but I kind of felt like when I was invited on shows that the comics were not getting paid, and so I kind of felt like, you know, I understand, and this is like an aspect that I am able to apprehend, you know, not apprehend, but just like understand later on as I switched my hat from comic to producing.
Right.
And so I just felt like, you know, the comics definitely deserve to get paid. Just you know, just why, you know, as an art form, it should be treated as an art form, and it takes a lot of work.
It does.
For a comic.
So you looked at it from the showcase perspective of being able to compensate them?
Yeah.
Right.
And so I wanted to find a way to problem solve, and so then I said, okay, well, what can I do then at the time? And then alongside of that was life, and then work, and then not working. You know, I mean, you know, when you have a dream, but then you don't really know how to like make it happen. You have to spend a lot of time just kind of like nurturing it, right?
Like figuring it out, right?
And long time ago, in my mid 20s, that's like, oh god, like to mid 2000s.
Oh, I was about to say, wait a minute, mid 20s or mid 2000s? Okay.
Yeah, mid 2000s. I
20 years ago. Right?
Yeah, oh my god, it's crazy. But I actually did an industry project in producing, and in those days, it was MySpace.
Right.
Or Tom.
MySpace, Black Planet, all these different things were going on back then. That was the early stages of social media.
Yeah,
yes.
And Tom was everybody's friend.
Yes.
And so I was working then for an actress who did a one-woman show, and I learned so much from her, and I did a lot of tangible marketing for what she was trying to put on. And it was a one-woman, one-night-only show at the Kodak Theater. And
how did it go?
It was awesome. Like I learned so much in regards to because we were limited with social media then, as it was MySpace and then slowly Facebook. But I just remember going to all of these salsa events and just advocating, like handing out flyers and saying, hey, you know, like, we have this amazing, talented woman. She's doing her one-woman show, often compared to the female John Leguizamo, and so from those skill sets, I thought, I could still utilize those skill sets till now, find tangible ways to market, and so basically, first thing I had to do was lock down a space, because I remember doing that, locking down a space, and then talking to the management, see what it is that I could offer to them, and then slowly but surely find people who I could curate onto the shows. The curation kind of happened later on, but before I actually thought about producing, I actually, so I'm kind of like going backwards here a little bit to get to your question. Okay. My ADHD. So, as mentioned, I've had multiple jobs, and one of them, and I'm going to say this, I just can't do corporate America. I can't be bossed around. It's not that I don't like to be bossed around, it's just, I just have a certain way of like thinking, and some folks who are managers, they just lack poor leadership skills. And the whole micromanaging thing doesn't work, and so basically I got fired. I was working at a job, got fired, wasn't in alignment with the manager then, and I did everything that I could to hold on to that job, and so then I said, okay, F it, what am I gonna do with my time, you know? I just felt like there was so much free will, so I took a road trip, and I said, I'm going to go test out my jokes elsewhere. I'm going to go to other cities. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to go to Austin. I'm going to go to San Antonio. And,
you went to a whole nother state. You know, city. You jumped to Texas. I love it. But you know what is good, because I think it helps you to pull your shell down, because nobody knows you. And it gives you an opportunity to work out and find your voice. You know, and figure out, you know, what works for you, how it feels. So I can see that. I commend you on that. Okay. So you did that, and how long? How did it go? And how long did you do that?
I was there for about a week. How'd it go? You know, it was different, because sometimes your jokes are not going to vibe in the city that you're in.
You got to know where you're at.
You got to have that relatable connection with the folks in the audience, even with the comics, for them to get where you're coming from.
Correct.
You know?
That's a real truth.
Oh, yeah. And I kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe some of these Texans haven't been to San Diego. I don't know. But I kind of felt like their projection of me was like, who's this girl, this California girl with this curly hair? What is she doing here? You know, like.
But you know what? California has taken over Texas. There's a lot of people that left California and went to Texas. So you probably had some people in the audience that was related to some of the subject.
So in Austin, yes. In San Antonio was, it kind of. Well, it reminded me of Chula Vista, where I'm from. Except San Antonio is on a bigger scale.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just, you know.
It's a big place.
Oh, yeah. Chula Vista is, you know, back then growing up, we were predominantly brown, all Mexican. Not so much. City has grown a lot, but a lot of parts of San Antonio reminded me of Chula Vista.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah.
So for you now, let's talk about your showcase that you're doing.
Raz.
So Raz Comedy, tell me about the name.
Oh, yes.
And you know, when you're doing it and what it is that you're looking for that showcase to do and bring.
Yeah. So okay, so when I was in college, I did I studied comparative literature, and comparative literature took me abroad to Ireland, and
Nice.
yes, and I lived in first time ever, you know, I felt like such an outsider, but the moment I walk into the bar, as they say.
In the bar? Okay.
The bar.
Sound like a Boston, huh?
Yeah. The bar. Well, it's like, okay, what am I going to do? You know, I'm going to get me a pint of Guinness. And so
Oh, yes.
I walk in, and it was a very quiet bar, and I had all eyes looking on me. First thing that came out of this, oh boy, this, well, he was, I wouldn't call him a bloke, but he was an older, you know, he had a lot of wisdom, Irish gentleman, much sweet, well, mid-50s, I'd say.
Okay.
Very ginger. First thing he said was, "What's a girl like you doing in Galway?" And I didn't know how to answer, and I just remember thinking, okay, well, you know, the Irish, they sure know how to put on delightful conversations. They're very curious. They want to know so much, and they know how to party.
Okay.
Now, from traveling a lot from Galway to Dublin and to London.
Okay.
Can't really do a London accent, but when people are having a good old time, and the Irish say, you know, good grog and crack, crack as in C-R-A-I-C.
Okay. Because I was like,
yeah. They often say, well, actually, I take that back. It was more in London. They often say, oh, they're on the Raz, you know, like someone who is really having a good old time.
Okay.
And may have overdrink just a little tit-tot, little, you know, you know, just a little tiny bit, but they're on the Raz, like they're having a really good time. Like,
okay. So that was the inspiration.
Yeah,
for
it was
the
inspiration.
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
To go on the Raz with those crazy comics.
I love it. So so Raz Comedy is developed from that combination of experience, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you been doing Raz Comedy as a producer?
So I actually started. I want to say tentatively last fall, like around October.
Okay.
But then
up on a year.
Yeah, and but the idea of the shows did not develop until early spring. And so I kept brewing on the idea, Raz, and but then I wanted to be sure about it, you know? You know, when you kind of feel like, let me just take some time to process this thought, you know? Because you don't want to, like, go full throttle and then see it flop. I just kind of wanted to get a filler of the vibrancy. So what I first started doing was, after my trip to Texas, driving back to California, that's when I did a lot of my strategic thinking, and I thought to myself, okay, maybe I could help run some open mics, and then from the open mics later segued into the comedy showcase.
Cool.
And then Raz,
That's how Raz came about.
That's how it came about.
So where's Raz Comedy at right now?
So right now it's in this part of San Diego called Bankers Hill. It's very central, adjacent to Balboa Park.
Okay.
It's at a steakhouse restaurant, but one side of the place is the lounge bar side. So it's called Impy Bar Lounge, and then the other side of it is the steakhouse.
Cool. It's such a cool little place too.
Yeah.
It's a cool bar.
Yeah, it is.
And how long have you been there now?
So running open mics since last fall, October, I'd say.
Okay.
And then I started, the very first Raz show was actually in April of this year.
Okay, almost 6 months in, almost.
Yeah,
almost 5 months this month.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah.
So Raz Comedy Showcase is the last Wednesday of the month.
Yes, the last
Which
Wednesday
is tomorrow.
Yes,
for
tomorrow.
this month.
Yes.
Okay, word. So how has it been since you've been doing Raz Comedy? How has the turnout been with the showcase?
So Wednesdays can be interesting.
Okay.
I know it's the middle of the week, but
Right.
in order to attract more people on a Wednesday, Wednesday happens to be the slowest night for management, and so I said, okay, well, let me see what I could do. A lot of it was really, as mentioned, tangible marketing, going out to live events, hosting, not hosting, but putting out flyers, like the old school way, and also social media can only do so much, but sometimes I feel like you have to push the needle a little bit,
Right.
and just go in person to events. So the first Raz show, I thought, okay, well, let's see, what can I do? Who am I gonna curate? So I just started seeing some reels, and I developed relationships with comics who I've seen at other shows over time, and then I just reached out to them and I said, hey, would you be interested? This would be the first showcase, and that's how it happened. And I found that I feel like in comedy, there's so much growth and potential for comics, but I feel like unless comics don't go to other cities or vice versa to really explore the material, then it could, like, unless they don't do that, then I feel like it may stunt your growth.
Right, limitations.
Yeah. And so
absolutely.
what I try to do is I try to curate a combination. So for comics in San Diego who may not be able to, for a lot of reasons, may not be able to travel outside to test out their jokes, I invite other comics to come on in.
Right.
And hopefully the comics from San Diego could build off and grow and do some
mix it all in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of like the vision that I have, and plus,
it's working though. I think you're doing a good job. That's how we met.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon your space and found your. Matter of fact, the night I came, you were doing a showcase.
Yeah.
And had the opportunity to meet a couple of guys there, and that's what's happening. It just continues to progress. And so, when you're in the midst of doing something that you find yourself loving to do, it opens up the horizons differently.
Oh, yeah.
And people will intersect with you that you may not even expect. So it becomes this really cool thing that comedy has that unique part of the industry that many people have different levels of desire. Some desire to really go for it full time. Some do it for a hobby. Some do it for for the kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
Right. I've even had a comic that told me that she got into comedy because she just wanted to get into the clubs free.
Is that right?
I was like, hey, just be honest, right?
Yeah.
But you hear all kinds of different things, and so to be a comedian is one thing. To be a comedy producer is another. And we talked about the aspect of working those shows and working to build relationships and working to have an audience for them to get material out in front of. It's a lot, right? And it's a big undertaking. So I think that you to me it seems like you're really starting to really get your momentum and you're starting to progress, and I know that you're steadily building upon what you're seeing that's unfolding. So I think you're on the right path. I think that it's amazing, and I think that you have a great opportunity. And I'll always say to people, do the things that feel good to you, that feel right for you, and don't let other people pressure you to be more than what you're comfortable with in certain things. But if you want to stretch more, as a comedian, as a producer, you can. It's up to you, right? And everybody has their own art form of it.
Yes,
so it just kind of gives an opportunity. And when you're producing it, you're really giving another opportunity to other artists. And you're also saying to the public, hey, I want you to come and support this. So you're a connector, and I commend you on that, especially because you're so new into the the element of the industry, and then you already jumped. I think you got a full steam ahead understanding as a producer that you started to already, kind of get a grip on, which is wonderful. And you had the thought of like, I want to compensate people. So that's already a good thing. Trust me, I'm sure a lot of comics appreciate that.
Yeah.
And people don't know how hard it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not an easy walk. It's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
So.
if I could just mention this really quick, is that
Sure.
I do work 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
One of the jobs is actually so I'm investing my own money to pay the comics.
Right.
So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
I do it because I care.
For the love of comedy.
For the love of comedy, yeah.
Yes.
For the love of comedy,
Yes.
so I do compensate the comics, and I am offering the shows for free because we all could use a lot of laughter
Right.
today nowadays.
Absolutely.
More for community engagement.
Right. Right.
For sure.
And so as you're developing and pushing this forward, can you tell people how they can connect to you?
Yeah, so there's several ways. You could always connect with me on my Instagram, which is Karla _K_ Amador. Our raz.comedy is the Instagram channel.
Okay.
I also have Facebook, Karla _K_ Amador.
Okay.
And that's about it. I think
Nice.
most people always find a way to connect in some regard because that's kind of how I what I'm trying to say is that the comedy community, everyone always knows.
Yeah.
Someone always knows.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you, Karla, thank you so much for coming out this evening and,
Yeah, thank you for
and
having
doing this
me.
interview and coming in the studio and talking about, just your walk and what you're working on and what you're doing. And so the Raz Comedy Showcase is tomorrow night at the MP Lounge. And do you know the address there?
Oh gosh, I should know it by heart.
Yeah.
It's on Kalmia Street, 92101 is the zip code.
Yeah, I think it's off of
It's
MP Lounge, IMPY Lounge, right?
Yeah.
I know I got the thing somewhere, but I can't put my hand on it right now. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so guys, thank you, Karla, so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your kind decision to share with our listeners about your walk and your love of comedy, and how we can connect to you and support your showcase and support your comedy production and as you start to put more things out, I'm just going to encourage you to keep plugging at it and just keep going at it. You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you so much, Sunny. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here.
Welcome.
Yeah,
You're so
I'm excited.
welcome. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we're gonna wrap this show. So guys, be blessed.
Yes, stay blessed, stay positive.
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. That was. I got a little nervous there.
Didn't feel bad.
My the connection kind of like let me see here. It kind of tuned in and out.